Happy Father's Day. Father's Day is this Sunday. It's a day where dads get to celebrate being dads. You know, I always found it kind of weird or kind of funny that, we're celebrating a job because being a dad is a job and we're celebrating our jobs this day. However, someone brought it to my attention that I can't think of it as celebrating a jobs day. Think of it as celebrating a dad's appreciation day, right? A day where your kids are almost required to express their appreciation. Well, I'm someone's kid as well. And I also need to express my appreciation for my dad. In honor of him, I thought I'd share with you the top 3 things that always come to mind when thinking about how my dad shaped my life. Now, my dad wasn't much of a communicator growing up. He was more of a doer, right? He led by example. If you watched his actions, it would teach you a whole lot about life. First lesson is a man should be able to do anything a woman can do. There was a point in my childhood where my mom was an EMT. And you know that when you start a job like EMT or firefighter or police officer, you always get stuck with the night shift. Unavoidable. I believe she was working 12 hours on, 12 hours off at the time. That means that my dad really had to step up his game. I remember my dad would wake us up for school, make us breakfast, take us to school, come home from work around 6 or 7 p.m., then make us dinner. He was the man of the house, but he was also now not just the provider, he was also the nurturer as well. He supported my mom in her career, and I never heard him complain. Because I saw him cooking breakfast and cooking dinner and whatever needed to be done, that taught me that I also needed to learn how to cook and do whatever needs to be done. Before, my mom was the person always cooking dinner. And when she cooked, I just assumed that that's the way life was. Moms make the food. When she went back to work, I quickly learned that men need to learn how to cook as well. As a matter of fact, I saw my dad sewing a shirt together one time. So for a time, I learned how to sew. This helped me to distinguish that a married woman shouldn't be mowing the yard or picking up dog poop, but a married man better know how to cook, sweep, mop, and every other chore that would be considered a woman's traditional job. Second lesson, you're never too good to flip the burgers. So I was weird. I liked it when my dad took me to work with him. And he worked for McDonald's. He started off when he was 15. He lied about his age because he was poor and he needed help pay for his own high school. So he started at McDonald's flipping the burgers. Now, before he even turned 16, they already promoted him to swing manager. Them thinking he was 16 at the time, but he was still 15. And he just continued rising up the ranks, right? And by the time my dad be taking me to work, he was already running all of Arizona, Nevada, Utah, etc., all the McDonald's. He was pretty high up. So one time my dad took me into work, and when he comes in, everyone starts showing their best foot. They're putting their best foot forward, or not smiling, but just trying to do their best so that the boss doesn't say anything. Well, this particular time, the McDonald's was packed. It was lunchtime. He goes on purpose at lunchtime to see how they work under stress. And it was packed. You couldn't even walk. It was so busy. So my dad said, you know what? These guys need help. Let me jump in. And my dad took over where they were making the burgers. I guess they might have been shorthanded. I don't remember. And anyways, he started flipping. And he even bet the other guy that was doing it previously that he could do it faster. So now my dad, who's running all of Southwest McDonald's, is flipping burgers. And that brought the whole morale up. Everyone was looking, smiling, putting their best face forward. They were just moving so fast and happy about it that we got rid of that line quick. And that was huge to let me know that, you know what, it doesn't matter how big you think you are or how distinguished you think you are. You're never too good to flip the burgers. You're never too good to jump into the foxhole. That lesson was hugely invaluable to me to know that, yes, eventually I want to strive to be the big boss man, right? But even in that scenario, I'm never too good to flip the burgers. Third lesson, learning how to succeed. So, like I mentioned, my dad wasn't much of a communicator. And I remember this one time where we actually got locked out of our house, me and my dad. And we had to wait for my mom to come home to unlock the doors. Because obviously back then we didn't have Wi-Fi garage door openers. But nevertheless, so we were outside the gate on the car, laying on the hood of the car, me and my dad, looking up at the stars. Now again, he wasn't much of a communicator. However, if you asked him a question, he would give you a full answer. And right here, I asked him a question. I said, Dad, how do you always get promoted so fast? Why are you always succeeding way beyond what you're supposed to be doing? And then he said, son, that's easy. He says, I already know I'm going to get promoted to the next position once I start my job, because I'm going to do such a great job that they're going to feel forced to promote me. But what gets me the extra edge is when I start my job, I don't just learn my boss's job. I learn my boss's job, right? He was trying to provide so much value in himself by learning his job, his boss's job, and his boss's job, that it's a no-brainer. When Steve Chavez's name came up, you had to hire him. You had to take him to the next level. Why? Because he made the boss's jobs easier. He provided more value. The easier he made his boss's job, the better his boss would do. So that helped me to learn that when you're in business or when you're trying to accomplish something, you can't just look one step ahead. You have to look 2 or 3 steps ahead. It's vital for you and your success. Obviously, when you're in a job, you focus on your job. But then after 8 hours, you look up and say, okay, what can I do to get better? Those are 3 invaluable lessons that I learned that I still use to this day, actually every day, and I hope to one day pass on to my kids. So to all of you fathers out there, happy Father's Day. To my dad, I love you. Happy Father's Day.